Okay, so we're recording. So welcome to chapter 5. It's reality and entrainment. Do you believe in impossible things? And today we have Lally Hancock and Rachel O'Brien to play with. Welcome, guys.
Hi, everyone.
I'm going to introduce Lally. She's one of the JCFs here, and she is phenomenal at business. And you know the way sometimes you have to pinch yourself with the people that you work with in the world. I actually consider myself privileged to be alongside Lally and Emily and Melanie, who are here and part of the Joy of Business team. So you know, we have a fantastic team here, people that are living and breathing the tools. And what can we contribute to tonight?
I adore you, Miss Rachel. Rachel, you're one of my favorite people on the planet. And what I love about you is you really do breathe, eat, sleep, talk, walk, all of this joy. And there's always a smile on your face no matter what the situation is going on. And that's the magic of all this. We're not always smiling. It's not always joyful, but it's really when we are willing to look at whatever's going on and ask some questions and see what we can be and do to actually change it. And what I love about the Joy of Business tools is that in the past, if something really was wonking for me or something was going on that was crazy, it lasted days. It really messed with me for days. Now with the tools, with the questions, it doesn't matter what it is. It just bounces off of me and I'm like, oh, wait, that magic question. What else is possible? How does it get even better? And everything changes. So, hi, it's Miss Glenna.
Hi, Glenna. Hi, girl in red. We're matching tonight.
Yes.
Oh, how funny. I forgot. I just put it on. See, my body knew I had to be red today.
Woo-hoo.
Just more darker red than the rest of you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, what can myself and Lay will give you everything we know and every tool we use. And the moment that we come to this chapter, though, the thing that jumped off the page at me is that who does this belong to? It's like business done from this reality is serious, it's projection, it's expectation, it's always result-based. I've never, ever before some more molasses heard anyone talk about like that. What if business was fun? What if it was joy for you? And like the thing about joy business is your consistent willingness to change so that you can create something dynamic and something that works for you. So everything that doesn't allow that, will you all destroy and uncreate it all? Good and bad, right and wrong, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And we've other JCFs on here also, guys. If you would like to contribute, we call ourselves Team JCF. Just please jump in, and please, for me, it's the action, the continuous choice of the tools in the creation of my day, in the creation of my business, in the creation of building a business and what is required to change. So I suppose the body of this reality is how much we are entrained, how much we're entrained, how business has to be. So does anyone here on the call actually have the fun and joy of business the way it's done in this reality? I take it that's a no. And feel free and come on, ask us some questions. You know, we're here to contribute and support you. So,
hey, Rachel, today we actually have Glenna who's also joining us on the panel. So Glenna, welcome.
Hi, Rachel. Hi, everyone.
I
just reread the chapter just before the call. Wow.
Ooh, you little swat.
I know. It's amazing. There's so much good stuff in this chapter.
There is.
But you know what, Rachel, when you said, did we have joy in this, the entrainment of this reality? Like, I actually will say to you, I did have joy. I know I was like one of the rare beasts in my environment, but like, I used to let work get to me. I used to let the stress get to me. I used to let people get to me. So they would I would allow them to take some of my joy away and turn it more into frustration or like stress or everything else this reality has. But there was this love, true enjoyment with business, with creation, with the ability of collaborating with other people. And so like, I'm wondering like how many of us actually do have joy and haven't allowed this reality and the entrainment of this reality to take over completely in our lives. And that's why we're here. There was something that drew us to this whole concept of joy of business and this book, which, I mean, just looking at it just makes me really happy. And that gorgeous picture of Simone in the front. So like, what if you've always known you were different? What if you always knew that you did have something different in the way you looked at your life and you looked at your business, you looked at the way that you were working, and you have already been applying it? Because I think it's so easy for us to always go into what we're not doing, what we don't have, versus acknowledging what you've already been and continue to be, and what else can you add to it, and what else can you change, and what else is possible. So just want to like for a moment just acknowledge what we're already being and doing.
That was awesome.
Mm.
That was great. Yeah, that's where in training to this reality, or in training to how other people do business, it kind of pulls you out of the difference you be. It's harder to, like you said, you got like frustrated in the past with your days and you had a joy of business, but the entrainment, when you're trying to be like everyone else and fit in and not be as different as you are, can kind of suck you away from that, or you start making it wrong that you're different. So, you know, everywhere you guys have made yourself wrong in any way for the difference you've always been with business, that doesn't allow you to acknowledge the greatness of you with what you've created. We just run and create all of that. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh, I think that was for me.
All of us.
Single flea, right? That's in chapter 2.
Yeah. And it's so funny, as Lale is saying that, I look at my clock and in Ireland it's like 8 p.m. at night and we're all on a joy business call. So how far is that?
AM here in Australia.
Yeah.
Like the morning hair, I don't care. I'm
It's
doing business as
gorgeous,
my
Christine.
way.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. So in this chapter, I just have to read this line. I just think that whoever like applied this to business. In Lewis Carroll's book, Through the Looking Glass, Alice says to the White Queen, one can't believe in impossible things. And that's the part that's like one. And the White Queen replies, why? Sometimes I've believed in as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast. And I just love the Queen's reply, and all of us that have been using these tools, we have all these like impossible things according to this reality. And how many of you on the call have actually created impossible to possibilities? And have you actually acknowledged that in your life and living and your business? You know?
Can I ask a question on that? So when you say impossible things, isn't that a limitation to say something possible?
Yeah.
And I have trouble, like when I read that and read it, and I was just asking that all week, and it just hit me then, and I thought, why doesn't that sit well with me? And it's because it's the fact that for me, I don't think anything's not possible. It's just what can it turn up and what can it turn into? It's just interesting how I just had that moment then when you mentioned it, I went, hang on, that's a limitation.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rachel.
Oh no, I was just, did you want, so like for me, there is an exercise in this chapter and it's a couple of pages on, and it is, what are 6 impossible things I've decided I can't create today with my business? And I get that, like, Christine, when you're talking about it, a lot of the times though, by even writing this question, what are 6 impossible things I've decided that I can't create today with my business? Because for me, writing that down, it'll be amazing what will pop out onto my page. Where I am now, I've like my little desk, and in the mornings I do a morning date with my business, and I have these little bits and pieces on these plastic A4 little plastic cards, so that I can actually remind myself of, hey, what are the 6 impossible things that I've decided that I cannot create with my business today? And what that gets you to access then, and talking to what Christine just said, is it actually starts the awareness of the limitations that you've decided that you actually cannot create with your business today. So it's then we all know when we get the awareness of the limitation that's actually eliminating whatever we'd like to create, then we can actually choose it, or just ask the question from like, what would it take? What is it that you'd like to ask for your business right now? And I would actually even play with that while I'm on the call. What are the 6 impossible things that you've decided that you cannot create today, even though whatever time zone that you're in? And what's popping for you guys when I say that? What is it you have decided that is impossible for you to create with your business today?
Ironically, money.
So one thing I would say is when you guys do ask questions, okay, and you write it down or don't write it down, the first question to ask after that is, who does that belong to? Okay.
Who does this belong to?
Because I got money too. And I was like, wait, that's not my reality. Who does that belong to? And it is. So like, also remember these magic tools that we take for granted. The first one being, who does it belong to?
I mean, you can look at that too. If you have a point of view that it's impossible to create money with your business, like how many judgments do you have in place? How many things are you stopping from contributing to you with your business? How many people are you stopping? And how, like, is that the business's point of view? And then you're like projecting that whole energy onto your business. So how can it contribute money if that's like impossible to you? So everywhere you made money, or loads of money and tons of money, impossible to create with your business. Can we just try and create that?
Yes.
Please, yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah, a lot of this is, it's just like creating something that's greater than you can imagine. Because if you think it's impossible, you can't imagine it. And if you want to create outside of your imagination, even out bigger than that, because only the things you can imagine can show up. But if you can get outside of what you can imagine into the things that you think are impossible, you can start creating more. There was another voice. Was that you, Alay?
Yeah, I was just going to add, one thing we've been talking a lot in Access, including Joy Business, is agendas. And, agendas aren't always things that you cognitively realize are the underlying surface of how your point of view is created or how you're functioning in the world. And so, we just came back from the 7-day, and it was really interesting, like all of us bringing up different things that are our agenda. So what is your agenda with you? What is your agenda with your business? Or how many agendas do you have about you? How many agendas do you have about your business? And just allowing, not from anything you come up with is good or bad, but just like allowing you to free flow what really is underneath. Because so many of us are like, wait, I've tried this, I've tried that. I don't know why things aren't changing. I don't know why this doesn't get better. Well, it's like, if you're functioning from this agenda that your business cannot make money and you're trying to make money, well, what's going to happen? Your agenda is going to actually overrule all the things that you're attempting to do. So everywhere you've made your agendas be real, and everywhere you've made them be more significant than you as the creator, would you guys be willing to destroy and create all of that?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. And it is one of those things that you actually have to be willing to be honest with you of where are you now? Where is your starting point? And when you start to ask these questions, you will get the awareness beyond what you cognitively think is your point of view about things. And like Glenna mentioned, like our businesses have no point of view. Our businesses don't say, I'm only going to be a business for women. I'm only going to be a business for small businesses. Your businesses have absolutely no point of view. They desire to be creating and being out in the world. So everything you've defined as your business, which it's not, would you now be willing to actually destroy and create all of that?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pun, poc, online, shorts, boys and beyonds. And what possibilities are available with your business today that you haven't even considered or chosen yet? Anything that doesn't allow you to be, know, perceive, receive, and have the awareness and the fun, would you guys be willing to destroy and create all that?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pun, poc, online, shorts, boys and beyonds.
The questions that Lele just used, they're not a one-time tool. What gets created when you continue to look at it? Well, what are the agendas? Because as Lele said, they're secret hidden points of views. And what that gets created in my world, what that creates is I'm continuously asking, well, what are my agendas? You know, what are these secret hidden points of views that are creating my business that I'm not even aware of? So that question is not a one-off ask. It's a continuous question where, you know, you start to become aware of the secret agendas that you have in your business. And thanks so much for that, Lale, because it's a brilliant tool. I was in the Netherlands last weekend. Sometimes I have to remember my days. No form, no structure, no significance. And it was a Joy of Business taster. And there's a piece in this book, and it says about entrainment. If you put clocks together, that they'll all start ticking. When you first put them in a room, they all tick to a different talk, let's say, to a different movement, to a different interval. And eventually they all begin to sync with each other and they begin to tick-tock, tick-tock. And what we call that is entrainment. And when we look at, like, if we look at how we function for business and what Lale talked about, how much was it not entrained to us to actually have and be a joy of business? And I'm skipping back to the weekend before that. I was in Austria, and we had a 14-year-old come to the money class, and he started talking about business, that he would love to create an app, and he had this idea to sell an app to his friends for €1. And he said that he was met with so much resistance in his surroundings. His name was Lucas, and he had this joy and fun of what he'd like to create and what he'd like to play with. And in that moment where he got the idea, what if we could actually embrace and go beyond the functioning of entrainment and wake up and actually see something different and contribute to him? So everywhere where we're all still anyway aligning and agreeing or resisting and reacting to that point of view of what business is and how we should be with it, we all destroy and create all that. Good and bad, right and wrong, all 9 pot and pock, shorts, boys and beyonds. So what I was about to say is that the viewpoints that come up mainly in these joy of business classes is that no one has told us that joy and business can go together. And no one has actually shown us that we can have a reality beyond this reality, which Lale talked about. So what if we actually, you know, we're always told by Gary, and he always says, when you are willing to contribute to the consciousness of the planet, consciousness will give you everything that you ask for and will support and contribute you in ways beyond what you can imagine. And that line for me is always in my world, and particularly when I'm around people that do not function like me. And I know every day that I become more and more aware and more trusting in my knowing of how actually different I am. So what if you really began to know that you know, what you know, when you know it, and that you know it with your business? And that space is what acknowledges you to actually do business whenever you would like to do it. Do whatever, whenever it works for you. So everywhere where we've bought like a time to do business or contextual reality based on time. So in this chapter, she also talks about like time, dimensions, reality, and matter. And in Access, we talk about that there is no time. There's energy, space, and consciousness, and we use the time to create what we'd like to create. So for me, sometimes I'll choose to create a class or a call super fast. and it'll get created, or, you know, a product or whatever it is. So guys, don't buy contextual reality, which is time and matter. Okay, we're energy, space, and consciousness, and by our very being that, we actually have the space to use time to create what we would like to create, and we actualize our reality. And I just love that piece in the book. What if you jumped tracks? We're continuously jumping tracks. Jumping tracks is, oh, I can do this. You know, I have a friend, he's a work friend and a colleague, Merline, and he's always out creating, and I'm like a little kid, you can do this, let me do this, you know. And that's out creation, that's jumping tracks, that's functioning in a totally different way. And even Glenna, who's on the call, was in Dublin in September, and she told me things about the body that blew my mind. And I was like, I'm going to go back and, you know, study some more of that. And she ignited in me a hunger for more with my business and to do with bodies. So that's really a total different reality. And when you go beyond the entrainment, and all of you on the call have access to each other, you know, we've got a Facebook group. So what if we were willing to be inspired by people and jump tracks? I love it. What if you jumped tracks, changed universes, and functioned from a totally different reality from the one you've been entrained to? And how many of you already, and you haven't acknowledged it? What if right now you were willing to actually acknowledge that you've already jumped tracks? And everything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy it or create it all, please? Good and bad, right and wrong, all nine, pot and pock, shorts, boys and downs. Energy, space, and consciousness is full of possibilities.
Rachel?
I had something come up the other day about, sorry, Lynn. Oh, Lil, you're talking.
Oh, okay. It was just in reference to what Rachel was saying about changing tracks and such. I'm noticing that my stories are changing rapidly. I have to tell the story that is correct for my universe. So when people ask me, how's my business, how's it going, I experience myself telling lies, because I'm not telling them what it actually is in these 10 seconds. I'm telling them the truth that I know. So it's kind of like I know everything, and this is what I know, and everything is fine. And lately, the last couple of days, I've had some it's been hard, some consciousness coming up that I should be conscious, and what's it called? That I should feel bad for telling lies.
You should feel bad for telling lies. You're a bad girl.
I know.
So really, I mean, this is the question that I always use. What if my business is the awareness of the future that I can be and receive?
Right.
Like, forget about like what if we didn't buy anyone's points of views in regard to business? Because, you know, the first year that I had my access business, my accountant and someone who was very wealthy and chose to project their point of view on me was like, hey, you're paying for all these classes. How are you going to make profit when you're spending on these training and classes? And for me, interest and point of view was the tool that I always used. Because one thing that, and guys, this is something that you really got to get for yourself. People like they use the word trust from the place of that they can predict how you're going to behave. Yeah. And you said something there where you were talking, you were like, I change it all the time. That's because we change all the time. I don't know who I was an hour ago. Not a mindset who I'm going to be in an hour. So like, what if we didn't have to like fit into anyone's reality? And one thing I know is people can only receive what they can receive. So what is it is, and another question that I love to use is, will this create a future of consciousness for me, or is it an entrapment of my past? When I'm being with someone, yeah, it's a really cool question that Stephen Chutisa used. And so for me, it's always looking at, because I had this thing, I have to tell you everything is true, and I have to be true and a good girl and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't always, it rarely works for me, is the actual truth of that. So ask, when you're actually interacting with someone and they're giving you their point of view, putting that into your world, just ask, like, is this the future of consciousness that I'd like to create, or is it an entrapment of the past? And for me, anywhere where I'm justifying or even proving my choices, I am absolutely in the entrainment of my past. Cool.
Because the funny thing was today, because when I was talking to someone, a big class actually, with kids, and we were talking about how much I make, or it just came up how much I make an hour, and suddenly something took over me, or me took over me, kind of. So I just blanked out, and I just said a sum that's not even true, right? Well, it's not true right now, but it felt so true for me at the moment.
So is that your price in the future?
Yeah.
So what if your business was the awareness of the future that you can have and be and create?
Yeah, and what I also saw with the kids is that they had such awareness at the moment. When I said that, they were like, wow, did you really? Do you really? And I was like, yeah.
So were you speaking to what they could hear?
Yeah.
What they were asking to hear, and what was it creating for their future by you giving that number?
Yes.
When you're speaking to what someone can hear, it's really different than lying. It's not that same energy of not telling it's an energy of what they can hear. If you tell them stuff they can't hear, they don't even hear you.
Yeah.
Right. But you're speaking to the energy of what they were requiring and what they were asking for, and it sounds like you showed them a whole totally different possibility with money they'd never considered. One of those impossible things. Nicely done.
Yeah, thanks. And also, but the funny thing was, though, my daughter was in that class.
And she was like,
I think she got kind of, what? Do you make that much money?
You know what was funny is yesterday we were on a call, the Advanced Money Workbook with Gary, and he mentioned his 6-month-old grandson. Whenever he hears Gary talking about money, his whole body starts vibrating. He just starts giggling, and he's so excited. Now, most of us in this reality would be like, oh, a 6-month-old knows nothing of what this is about. They're just, having their little goo-goo moment. But what do these kids know?
Yeah.
What do you know? What does your business know? Like, if we were willing to acknowledge that all of us know, truly, what else is possible beyond what this reality has been sharing with us?
Yes. Thank you, guys. This was beautiful.
And I love that sign behind you that says "Be You," by the way. Pretty
yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
any questions?
Can I ask a question at this point?
Yeah.
About time and space and today's reality? You hear me? Okay. Now, thanks to Simone Melas's book, I have read 2 months ago, probably, my whole world about business changed. And I am just on the verge of thinking of opening a new business in 2018. And it will be in the United States. Now I'm in Turkey. And I have received since then so many offers, brilliant offers from different places. I'm a healer, therapist, now Access Consciousness bars facilitator, regarding everything about I'm doing. Like people offering me positions in an association, offering lots of business and all that. And it's just gives me this joy of creation. But in the meantime, it's always like I fall into the gap of between today and all my plans in the future. And what kind of question can I be just to get myself out of that irritation sometimes? Like everything is 2018, 2019. For today, I'm working on them, but it's not like tangible. And I sometimes fall into like, okay, this is all like future, not today's. How can I put that into a question even? Like when I don't have it in today, it feels like I'm always like working for the future, but not today. You know what I mean?
How fast are you? How fast are you going into the future, planning your future?
Very fast. Very fast.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. For me, I had the same call yesterday where we talked about, I have now just realized the awareness of where I saw something a year ago. I saw something and now it's finally happening in front of me, and how I had the awareness a year ago of what this could look like and how it's showing up. Didn't have a point of view, just thought, okay, well, what can it be? So how fast are we in the future? And then come back and go, okay, so for me, is that what they call the possibility book that Gary talks about? It's like, write it down for the future. It'll happen, but then focus only on your 10 seconds now. So what's everyone else's opinion on that or whatever?
Yeah, right. Because I can live it, feel it, really be there. But when I come back, it's like, wow, it was like a dream that I came back from.
Well, you want to be choosing all your choices, like including your future. Like if I choose this, what's it going to create for my future?
Yes.
All the time, every 10 seconds in the present, creating the future. So you're always creating your future greater than you can imagine. And how much are you doing that with what you're talking about? And then what from your future can you actualize now and bring into your present that you've already been creating in your future?
That I'm not focusing on, probably.
Well, so what if it wasn't about focus? What if it was about awareness? When you focus, you got to get really small and just look at a little teeny. And for us, infinite beings, being focused is really painful. We are not that small. We can barely do it. And we have to cut off tons of our awareness of everything. This huge spherical awareness we have to cut down to focus. So everywhere you've been told to focus, you think you have to focus. Your teachers told you weren't focused. And you think you have to be focused to create, destroy, and uncreate all of that.
Yes.
Paying attention to times a godzillion, or right, wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Yes.
So what are you creating today that's creating your future?
Yes.
That you haven't acknowledged. Like
yes.
what you actually, so you're looking at your future and seeing it, but what are you actually creating now that you're not acknowledging that's creating that future that you're aware of? And then can you acknowledge that? Every day you're creating something incredible that's creating your future.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
There. That was
thank you.
Nice.
And there's another piece in this too. It's like, it's never going to be enough for us, and it's never going to be fast enough. I mean, that's just the way we are. And sometimes it's like, you know, Gary said something, and it's a while back ago now. He's like, frustration is not trusting that what you're asking for is being created. And everywhere where I have any bit of frustration, I always ask, like, what actually is the hidden point of view underneath this? And usually it's some kind of a point of view that it's not actually going to be created. Now, the beautiful thing about consciousness, and those of us that are playing with the tools over time, and even the ones that are playing longer, what we know is consciousness makes everything greater. Like, one of my huge asks was like to have more than 10 people in foundation. I'm a facilitator nearly 3 years, and I just had it this weekend. You know what I mean? Like, when you're asking, have no point of view about it, because the moment that you have a point of view about the creation of your business and your life and your living, it really makes it significance. And the moment there's significance, for me, the joy is gone. The moment that I make anything significant, it's like, along with significance comes its best friend, you know, discontent, or whatever that is. So for me, the moment I make something significant, I've just taken me out of the game, because in our reality there is no significance. There's just, as Glenna said, there's just continuous choice. What future will this create if I choose this in this? And for me, this is where the 10-second increments tool comes into play. If I had 10 seconds to live, what would I choose? And also, what actually do I know that I'm not acknowledging that I know? And guys, consciousness makes everything greater. Like, who here on the call hasn't had a greater possibility and create, like, nothing happens, guys. Happenings only happen from unconsciousness and anti-consciousness. We create everything. And if we happen upon something, that's okay too. But just the more presence that we develop in ourselves, the more that we're willing to be present with our asks, things, like, they are getting created. And a lot of times as well, as a girl, I find that when I've asked for something and then it takes on a life of its own, it's like it's a different energy, and sometimes I can't control it. So also ask, is that what is actually being created here?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's never fast enough, ever.
Yeah, I know. Everything happened actually upon my energy pool works that I've learned through Julia Sotis and the joy of business. So many things are happening. It's just wonderful on the other hand. Yeah.
I too had I created a workshop last year with a guy who does a wooden it doesn't matter what it is, but it's a unique thing because we're actually creating a wooden longbow. So it's very, very unusual. So I had the point of view that that's unusual. So it's going to be really hard to fill the class because there's 12 positions. Anyway, so that was a year ago, and I just joined and created all that, and I just kept doing the energy pull. So every time I thought or went into that pattern at all, I stopped myself, cleared it, and did an energy pull and just pulled in anyone or everyone that's looking for this workshop and sent back a bit of gratitude every time I did that. And yesterday I got a message from my team member, my host, the guy who's running it. I'm the host, and he said there's only 3 spots left and we've got until the end of November to fill them. And I went, okay, what do you need from me? This particular, I went on Facebook and I said, okay, what do you want? Where do I go? And I got a few places. So off I went into the group pages, zip, zip, zip. And so many people are sharing, 3 spots left. And I'm just like giggling to myself going, wow, that is just like so much fun and so easy. When last year when I did the same workshop, I was rushing around with my head chopped off trying to do things the old way. And it just didn't create anything. This was just so much easier for me, so much more fun. And I just wanted to share what I did and I am doing, and just doing that energy pull and how fast we can be in our future, but also not have a limitation of what that can look like, and just kept changing it and changing it and changing it. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
Great.
Lale, did you want to say something on this? I know you came in.
Yeah, it's so easy for us because we are creators and we are fast that we almost forget and don't acknowledge everything you're already being and doing today. So you are creating for tomorrow. You have all these amazing futures that you are creating, and how amazing you're acknowledging those. But what did you create today for today that you haven't acknowledged yet? And I see this a lot personally too. What did you say?
I said my breakfast.
Your
Sorry.
breakfast. Yeah, but that's still part of your 10-second of choosing. So that breakfast, what did it create for you? What did it create for your body? Like, there's a space that got created. There's something that got created and nurtured you. That's the thing. We're looking for these big things. And we do the same thing with money. We're like constantly like looking at our bank account and no, it doesn't have it. But what you're actually doing is you're creating energies for now and the future. And so what can you be and do today? What can you be or do different today to actualize whatever it is that you're asking for today? And when you do it with consciousness, like Rachel was talking earlier, when you ask the question, what will my life and the world be like in 5 years? You've already included consciousness. You've already included the future. So whatever you're creating is for the now and the future. And be grateful. Like I remember just listening to a story actually Gary had talked about before is, like there was someone who went to one of his New York classes And they had talked a lot about how does it get even better than this? And the person left the class, and as they were going, they found a dollar bill by the elevator, and they grabbed it, or it was a dime. Maybe it was a dime. I don't know what it was. But anyway, they picked up some kind of coin or dollar or whatever. And they said, oh my God, how does it get even better? And then they went downstairs, and then they found something else was like $10 bill. And they were like, how does it get even better? Now they could take a taxi to their apartment instead of taking the train. And what happens is that by taking the train, it usually drops them up in the back of their apartment. By them taking the taxi, they get to be dropped off in the front of the apartment. And when this person got out of the taxi, they looked down and saw something shiny. They picked it up, and it was a diamond bracelet. And they said, oh, it can't get any better than this. And guess what happened? It stopped. So everywhere you're going into that space, instead of continuously with everything, even if it has no words, even though it doesn't have a physicalness to it, how does it get even better than this? I know I've been and done a lot of things today, and I'm going to acknowledge all of it and ask for more. And how does it get even better? And how does it get even better? And just be willing to also receive all of the other things that come along with that for today and for tomorrow as well.
Lele, you really said something beautiful there, you know, guys, and this is something that continuously I choose to be more present with in my life. The energy of your business and your life is created on the energy that you choose to be in every moment. And for sure, you know, we're talking a lot about evil and access at the moment, which is unconsciousness and anti-consciousness. Every time you judge you perpetuate that onto you in your business. And your business is an energy that is looking to contribute to your life and your body. Like, and just get the energy of actually being grateful for you. You know, just actually like dropping your barriers and being like, hey, we are all on this call, and we're not choosing to do business from competition and all that other stuff. Like in this chapter, we talk about the kingdom of we, and the kingdom of we is that we are all unique. We all have different capacities, different choices, different abilities. And we're in a world now where we no longer compete with each other, that we actually contribute. I mean, people think I'm nuts when I say, hey, can I contribute to your business? Or if someone was doing a class, hey, can I contribute to that? And this, guys, what if we actually really recognized and acknowledged tonight that contribution of kingdom of we and that generosity of spirit, it changes the world. It, like, really, we're not talking about like small changes here. We're talking about a generosity of spirit and a contribution where we no longer resist someone, that we go, hey, Glenna is amazing at bodies. Lele is amazing at business and reading. I remember seeing Lele 2 years ago in Rome reading a contract and moving down through pieces of it and underlining. And I was like, wow, that's an awesome capacity. I'm going to have me some of that. And I did go away and study business law afterwards. So what if we were like inspired, like that generative energy is what has propelled me to be more of me, and to be like, what if we acknowledge the greatness that you be, like, really? And that is not like based on an external. Gary always says success to him is when one person smiles, when he's contributed to one person in the world smiling. What if that was your business target? You know, what if that was, and this energy of contributing to each other's businesses. Someone mentioned Julia Sotis. I remember talking to Julia Sotis about the energy pools, and she was like, do it, girl, you know? And it's like that energy it's so huge. Sometimes we don't even acknowledge the contribution that it is to the earth, you know, and the earth is like, we're like little kids playing with businesses and what can we create and what can we generate. And that is so far out of contextual reality. It really is. So right now, how about we all energetically contribute to each other's businesses? not in a way that's focused or linear or logic, because that's not how it works, guys. In a way, it's like, hi, Christine's business. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Asigil. Hi, Lale. That we're saying hello and giving them little tickles and saying, hey, thank you for being in my life, you know. And business, will you contribute to me? Who can you talk to? Who would like to play with you, you know? Oh, and I nearly forgot this piece. It's sad how excited I get about these tools. I sometimes forget, and I have it on my cheat sheet. Did you employ consciousness and the universe today in your business?
Oh no, forgot. Yes.
Oh, you forgot. Okay. I love that. What if you employed the universe, the end of page 63, and asked it to contribute to you? Like, where do people say that? You know? And the thing about this is, I mean, in the class that I did Sunday evening in the Netherlands, there was all different businesses there. A plumber, a guy who was setting up a private care, nursing care for people's parents in their homes, different type of care system. And they all were willing to actually, they knew that if you employ the universe and the earth and you ask it, just invite it in to contribute to your business, they got that that was actually something that would expand their life and their living. Because a lot of the times we believe that we're on our own. So this is the question, and I love it. What energy, space, and consciousness can my business and I be that would allow us to employ the universe for all eternity? You know, and everything that doesn't allow that, will we destroy and not create it all? Good and bad, right and wrong, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and mans. I don't know, but sometimes, guys, we forget that the universe is here to assist us. And I that's how come I have these like little cards with my questions made out to remind me, because I can be like stupid and think for a nanosecond that I'm on my own, and would an infinite being ever be on their own in business? You know, and the beauty of this is ask the universe and ask a friend to ask you a question. I required help in my life today, and I asked people to contribute to me, and they did. You know, we're blessed to be on this work, and people will actually contribute to your life and your business.
Can I, what's come up for me, people who do know me or don't know me, but I have a hearing impairment, beautiful hearing aids, and questions that's coming up for me is how wonderful how I'm actually acknowledging how wonderful it is to have it, because, you know, when everything gets a bit noisy, I can just go boop, boop, take out my ears and I have peace and quiet. But the other thing was, the other day I was outside because my hearing actually has gotten worse in the last year. Or has it got worse? Or as we discussed yesterday, or am I just listening, or am I just not wanting to listen to all the stupidity that's out there? And I was outside without my ears in, as I call them, my ears, and it was, we've had a lot of rain here, and I'm on a property and I've got a lovely dam, so there's lots and lots of frogs going, blub, 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 and they're just everywhere. So I went outside and I got a little disappointed that I couldn't hear them very well. And do you know what happened? I asked the universe, oh, well, what will it take for you to get a bit louder? And it did. It got louder, and I was able to hear nature. So after my call with Julie Tooten yesterday, I did an energy pull and connected with the earth more. And to share that with my daughter, my 9-year-old daughter, who it's coming up for her too, because she said to me, Mum, when I turn my back on people, all I hear is gobble, gobble, gibby, gibby, gobble. And that's how she worded it to me. And I looked at her and I said, wow, honey, is it really anything exciting that they're actually saying? Because I think if you actually were, you know, because that's where I'm at the moment. It's like this tool of listening, like what is listening, and I can't help me here, guys, because it's like the point of view that we have to, this is what's coming up for me, the point of view that I've got to listen more because everyone sees me being deaf. But what's amazing is that I'm a secretary on the board for our school. Okay, so, you know, I take the minutes, and they were all surprised how much I took in. Like when I did it for the first time, I was nervous for everything. But the president turned around and said, wow, you actually got more than what I got. And now I'm like acknowledging myself, because the fact is, you're right, it's acknowledging, hey, I've got this, my superpower, and wow, all of a sudden I'm getting a massive download. While listening to this call, this is something that I don't know what, oh wow, I'm getting major download here. What can I do in my business that can help people realize that having a hearing impairment, or not even that, it's just, I don't know what it is, girls, but something's happening right now. What if my hearing can be something that can be teaching people or sharing with people that it's a crock of shit, guys. Let's stop doing that. I don't need to listen. I just need to be aware. Do that a little nicer instead of telling them. Let me soften that.
Well, some of our things we define as a disability are our abilities. Our talents.
Please clear that.
And there's so much stuff on the X-Men in Access, and it's like, if you're interested more in that, I'd certainly go and look at that. I grew up with a mother who's deaf, and she listens differently, and she could always hear when she wanted to.
That's very.
And the gift of her, like, one of the things I realized years later, after starting Access, is that we were always communicating psychically, which I'd never acknowledged, because she could hear me with her back to me doing dishes in the kitchen, when most of the time she could never hear that, and she could hear that a lot. And I was like, oh, this is when we were communicating energetically to each other. So how many ways can you listen that you've never even imagined? Those impossibilities. How many impossibilities do you have with hearing that are keeping you from accessing the possibilities you actually do have that are greater than anything in this reality?
Mind-blowing moment. Can't say anything.
Yay!
For all of you guys, how fun is that?
So much emotion here. I've got tears coming in my eyes, because that is just so on the money. Wow, how much fun! I didn't expect that. So there you go. Wow, I'm a little blown away right now. I'm having a moment, so I'm just going to sit here and cry. So why not? That's so cool.
I'm just going to everything that is times a godzillion, right around getting that pod and pod. Online shorts, boys and beyonds for all of you guys.
Oh, wow.
Did you have something you were saying? Okay.
Hey.
I think you're psychic, Glenna.
It's because my mom was deaf. How cool is that?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to say as she was sharing is, I just, with my eyes, I've had a lot of different things along the way. And I've always had perfect vision based on this reality, but I get where my eyes like go into seeing blurriness, or there's like all these other things. And I've asked Gary a lot. I've done it in different advanced body classes and things of that sort. It's like, so what actually are you aware of? You haven't been willing to be aware of that. If you were willing to be aware of it, would actually create total ease in your body and expand your awareness beyond what you've ever imagined. And anything that doesn't allow that, we destroy and create it. Right, wrong, good and bad, pon, poc, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. My eyes, I used to always say I'm a visual person. I had to see it. But in reality, for me, that's what I used to really say, instead of saying I'm aware. And I'm aware of the energies, and I'm aware of sensing things. And so I've realized that there's moments where my eyes appear in this reality to be blurry, but I'm actually going beyond this reality, and I'm aware of energies. So what capacities, abilities, talents, and do you have with your ears, with your whole body, that maybe you haven't yet acknowledged? And how can you use it to your advantage? How can you use it to your advantage? Because there's moments, like literally Gary said, he gets this pigmentation where he's driving and he cannot see anything. He sees these pixels, and he just asks his body to guide him to get him to his destination. And I've had that. I'll be fine. My eyes are fine. And then I'm here about to read a book on a book club, and then my eyes start to go a little fuzzy. And it's really funny because I can still read it. It's just that it doesn't appear the way I've said my eyes need to appear to be able to see. So it is these, like, this reality or beyond this reality, we have capacities. So just kind of, once again, just what if there's no wrongness in anything, what we're being, what we're doing, what we're saying, we're just aware of something different.
Hearing as well, because my eyes have been doing that too, because it's ironic. Sometimes I can read things, sometimes I can't. And then I'm reading something, looking at something close up, look up at the television or whatever, and it's blurry, but then it clears eventually. And I've been asking the same questions, not only for my hearing, I haven't even been asking those questions yet, but my eyes I have been. So that's so cool.
Yeah,
but
and
I just think I look great in glasses, so I'm just going to go out and get some anyway.
There you go. I actually asked my body, because it's like I'm also willing to know when my body's asking for something from this reality. So does my body actually require the glasses? I have asked that. Do we require to go see the doctor? Yeah, so it's just like it's going to work differently for each of us. But what if there's possibilities that maybe we haven't yet explored?
Too much fun. Wow. Did not expect to get anything like this from this call. I love it. This is amazing. I mean, oh, wow.
Please acknowledge you're an amazing creator.
Now being aware.
And that goes for all of you. Acknowledge that you're an amazing creator.
That's another thing that comes up is I have this week have received acknowledgement from people, and that can we do a clearing to be able to receive that? Because I just feel like as if I'm receiving acknowledgement, not just acknowledging yourself, but other people acknowledging you. And when I heard it from them, I'm like, I stopped dead in my tracks. Wow, that is so cool. Thank you for acknowledging me. I thank it, but it's like, and the energy of it was true, and it's so rare. Can I just say that? It is so rare. It is rare, and to have that from someone who I'm working quite closely with now, that's a new relationship that I'm been developing, I'm just so grateful. Yeah.
So
grateful.
Did you receive the acknowledgement? Kind of sounds like you.
I think I might have, and it was just, yeah. So maybe it was me receiving better. So great, that's it. It was me receiving better. And yeah, you're right. It's exactly what it was.
The first thing to receiving the acknowledgement, you said, is there a clearing? No, it's choice. You choose it. Choose to receive it. Then maybe there might be a clearing that pops up afterwards. But choice is always the one that trumps them all.
So in the book, we also have you contribute to everything. Now that one talks about money as well, so including money, but like, what if we're also willing to acknowledge, Rachel's got it. What if we're also willing to acknowledge that our contribution, which is the simultaneous gifting and receiving, is actually expanding. We are gifting more. We are receiving more. We are acknowledging more. So what have we been contributing to? Gifting and receiving, and we've already received that we haven't acknowledged yet. And what if it could be just as easy with cash, money, wealth, and everything else too? So the two questions that is in this book says, what can money contribute to me? What can I contribute to money? And you could fill in the blank with money with anything else that you desire. Add your business, add your friends, add whatever you're desiring to add to your life.
I love that question, Lele. I'm so happy you brought it up, because most of us don't actually, we're talking about all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory, but where do people actually function with ease and joy with money? And for me, I really didn't have that being with money, that receiving where it's like, hey, money, thank you for coming to my life. And thank you for contributing for what I can contribute to other people's lives. Because consciousness is about not only contributing to me, also what we can actually be for other people. And the question of what can money contribute to me? That question is what? And what can I contribute to money? For me, what I contribute to money is no longer that blame and shame that's projected onto money, that I go, hey, money, thanks so much, and ask your money to go out and have unprotected sex and make you lots of babies.
That is not something I ever put money in the same conversation with. Thanks you so much for making that fun. What a great call we're having.
Well, sex is about receiving. That's what it is. It's not just copulation. But I love that, Rachel. You're the best.
Yes. And can I just go to another place too? Is another thing that's come up for me this week is people saying to me, "Thank you for your work. Thank you for your work." And all I want to reply back to them and saying, "Oh, there's no work going on here. It's just me having fun." And
just for me, just for fun. Never tell anyone.
Oh, I tell them, don't worry. My business name's CLD Fun, and I never actually, and it's a fresh, unique, natural, but it's like fun, and it's like. And I laugh at that because I heard that and saying, "Oh, thank you so much for your work." And I look at them and says, "Oh, I never do work. I only have fun." And then I leave the room and they just look at me like I've just said the stupidest thing. And it's just like, you know what? I'm going to keep saying that to everyone and go, why do I'm not working. I'm having fun.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Anytime that I have a moment that actually showed up in my day to day, if I'm being brutally honest, there was this moment where I was like, "Hey, I'm working." And I know that if anywhere I have a point of view, "Hey, I'm working," something isn't energetically in congruence with me. And guys, we talk about all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. For me, a friend of mine rang me from Germany today, and she had a difficult situation, and it was to do with business. It was to do with taxes and getting things, clean and clear so that she had a future of ease. And I'm always talking about preparing my business for profit, planning for profit and planning to receive and invite money and invite people to pay with ease. And in that moment when she rang me, I asked what could I contribute to her and what could I contribute to her business. And it was just dropping my barriers and saying, "Hey, will we just say all of life comes to me with ease, joy and glory 20 times?" And that's what we did, and we just stayed on we were on Facebook, the call, and we just, how about we come to the end of the call tonight with all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. All of business comes to us with ease and joy and glory. Come on, take off your mics. Are we in?
Yes.
All of life?
Yes.
All of life. With ease and joy and glory.
All of life comes to me. Joy and glory.
Joy and glory.
All of life comes to me with ease and glory.
All of life comes to me.
Money comes.
All of life.
All of money comes to me with ease, joy and glory.
All money comes to me with ease and
Joy and glory.
All business comes to me with ease and joy and glory.
Money come, money come, money come,
Money come, money come, money come. Money come, money come, money come, money come, money come, money come. And this tool, sometimes when I don't know what to do in a nanosecond, I will just be like, okay, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. All of it.
Can I just share? I recently am on a board for a school when we're building it, and in June we had the so-called strategic meeting where we planned our whole time, and everything was standing around holding hands and doing all of this stuff, and all I was saying was, all life comes to me with ease, joy and glory, all life. And this month, just the last few days, we've got approval to do the building and everything, and everyone's like, "Oh, we'll have it done by term 4." And I looked at them and I said, "What will it take for us to have it done by the end of term 2? So I was like, what else is possible? What else is possible? Just to bring it all in and to acknowledge the contribution of just having that energy and just having that pulling in. Yeah. How life comes to me with ease, joy and glory. We sing it in the car, don't we, George? All life comes to me with ease, joy and glory.
That is so beautiful. Thanks, George. Thanks for coming on and contributing to our Joy Business Call.
Right and early this morning.
So guys, I'll hand you over to Melanie. I think we're at the end of our hour.
It's not Friday, guys. It's Monday.
We probably could go on, but we're over the hour now. So it's really cool because I love at the end of these book clubs, when I look at what the next chapter is going to be, we always seem to be on topic. It's human and humanoids. With Swami and Heather Nichols. And Heather Nichols, I know as well, as an X-Man facilitator. So you're going to have a great time next week with the two of them on chapter 6. Yeah, only chapter 6. So that's really cool. So thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks Rachel, Glenna and Lale. And I'm sure you'll be seeing them again very soon. And do come on again next week and bring even more questions. I know we could probably go over the hour, but we could be here all night. So thanks for coming. We'll send out the replay. Get into the Joy of Business Book Club Facebook group. Share whatever you want to share and connect with people there and everything. And if amazing things happen, please share them with us. We do love to see them and anything else. So we'll leave it for this week. And
Thanks, Melanie. Hang on a second. Let us thank you for being our amazing host.
Yes, she's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all next week. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, beautiful people. Bye.
Thank you.
Cute.